Welcome back to another Pilates by Brianna workout. Today's workout we will be using the box. That's the only other piece of equipment besides your reformer. I have my foot bar in the up position. I have 3 heavy red springs on. We'll be doing a little core warm up and then going into footwork. This spring setting is a little bit lighter than I do for double leg footwork typically, but we will be doing single leg footwork on this setting as well. So that's why it's a little bit lighter. So go ahead, get set up, and let's get started.
Come to lay on your backs with the heels on the bar, hip distance apart. You're going to find a comfortable neutral spine here. Take a deep breath. And then on your next exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone and begin lifting the hips up into a bridge position. We'll inhale at the top. And then exhale as you slowly lower on down 1 vertebrae at a time, finding that nice articulation of the spine. Reset the pelvis and then begin again. On your exhale, tuck the tailbone, engage the abdominals and the glutes as you raise up. Inhale at the top, exhale to roll on down 1 vertebrae at a time like a string of pearls. We're going to do a few here. Just kind of a lower body warm up, warming up the core, the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads, getting a little bit of a stretch in the front part of the body. And just focus on your breathing. Try to keep the carriage in at the stopper when the hips are up. And then we have 1 more to go. When the hips are back down, you can readjust the pelvis if you need to. And then you're going to grab hold onto the pegs or the shoulder blocks for windshield wipers. Bring the legs up into tabletop. You're going to bring both legs over to one side. On your inhale, on your exhale, engage the core, bring the legs back up to center. Inhale to the second side. We're going to alternate sides here, really trying to engage those abdominals as you pull the legs back up to center. The elbows will stay wide the whole time, and you might be feeling a little stretch in the chest. Inhale to lower, exhale back up. Inhale to lower, and use your exhale to help bring the legs back up to center. Let's do 1 more to each side. Bring the legs back up to center, and then you can put your feet, your heels back on the bar, hip distance apart. Hands will go down by your side. And then initiating with the back of the legs, the glutes, you're going to press the carriage out and control it back in. Exhale to press out, inhale to resist the springs back in. It's a very active movement each way. We're going for about 8 repetitions here, and it probably feels a little bit lighter than we usually do it on. 1 more out and in, and then you're going to bring the left leg up into tabletop and begin pressing out with just the right leg. The right heel is still on the bar. You're trying to use the glutes to press out and resist back in, keeping that left leg in tabletop. Going for about 8 repetitions again. Last one. And then you could place that left foot down, bring the right one up to tabletop and out and in here. Nice, steady, and controlled. Almost there. And bring the carriage on in. Place the toes on the bar hip distance apart and bring the heels together so we're in a Pilates V. And then begin pressing out and in here. When you press out, you should feel the inner thighs zip together and the knees will separate as you bring the carriage back in. Still going for those 8 repetitions. Last one, then bring the carriage in, keep the right toes on the bar, bring the left leg into a turn out tabletop position, and then press out and in here. So we're still maintaining that turn out of the Pilates V, the left leg is just up. So the left knee is in line with the shoulder and the left foot is in a little bit. And then bring the carriage in, find your Pilates V again, and then switch sides. Bring that right leg up into that turnout and press out and in here. And bring the carriage in. Keep the toes on the bar, both toes, but bring the feet to parallel high heel position and then press out and in that high heel position. When you press out, you're trying to keep the heels elevated. You should feel this a little bit more in the quads, the front of the legs. Last one here. And then you're going to press out one more time and hold the carriage out for heel raises. Both heels will drop below the bar, and then using the calves, you're going to lift those heels back up. So it's a slow lower, count to 2 or 3 as you lower the heels down, and then nice and controlled, bring it on up. Those 8 repetitions again. And bring the carriage on in. Right toes will stay on the bar, left leg up into tabletop, and press out and in here. We've got the 8 of the out of and ins and 8 of the single leg heel raises. That's what's coming up. And then next time you press out, hold it out. And we've got those heel raises. Lower that right heel beneath the bar and then lift it back up. Control lowering it down and nice strong on the way up. Last one here. And then you could just let the right heel drop underneath the bar for a stretch, feeling a stretch in the calves, the back of the right leg. And then the left leg can be however is comfortable for you. And then bring the carriage on in and we'll switch sides. Left toes on the bar, right leg in tabletop. We've got out and in. The legs should be feeling nice and warm by now. And then next time you bring the carriage out, stay out for the heel raises. That left heel will lower under the bar, and then you'll lift it back up. Still staying strong in that right leg. Make sure the knee is directly over the hip, and the shin is parallel to the ground. We're at a 90-degree bend in the knees and the hip. Last one. And then you can let that left heel lower underneath the bar. Relax the right leg for that stretch in the left calf. We'll pause here for a few breaths. And then bring the carriage on in. Heels will go wide on the bar, knees externally rotated, and we'll press out and in here. As you press out, you're trying to think about drawing the heels together. They won't actually come together, but you're thinking about doing that motion to activate the inner thighs a little bit more. 2 more to go. And then bring the carriage in, keep the heels wide, and we're going to windshield wiper the legs side to side. When the legs go to one side, the opposite hip will come off the carriage a little bit. That's okay. We're just getting a little release in the low back and some movement in the legs. And then you're going to pivot to one side of the reformer, and the edge of the reformer will be at the back part or the bottom part of your shoulder blades. Legs are in tabletop. You're finding a C curve in the tummy, and then the hands will go behind the head. We're going into extension. So you're going to lower over the reformer and then use the abdominals to raise it back up. You're thinking about lifting the chest up, not crunching the neck towards the feet. And you're only going as far over the reformer as feel comfortable. And then exhale to come back up, again lifting the chest up, feeling the upper abdominals working. Next time you're in the up position, you'll hold it there. Hands will go behind the legs. Curl up a little bit more, really finding that C curve, hands back behind the head. And you're going to alternate straightening out one leg, pulling it back in, and then the second leg, pulling it back in. So just alternate straightening out one leg and then the other one. Try to stay nice and strong in the core. Maintain that C curve. You're keeping a little bit of separation between the chin and the chest. Your head is heavy in your hands, so the hands are supporting you. Next time you straighten a leg, you're going to rotate towards the opposite knee, towards that tabletop leg. So we're just adding in a rotation, trying to bring the elbow towards the opposite shoulder, or opposite knee, excuse me. So straightening out one leg and finding that rotation towards the tabletop leg. One more to each side. And rest. Come up a little bit higher into your C curve. Hands will go back behind your head. And then you're going to keep the knees bent, lower the legs down towards the floor just a few degrees and pull it back up. So it's a very small lowering, and then find that connection to the deep abdominal muscles to bring the legs back up. We're going for about 8 here. Last one. And then hands will go back behind the thighs. Rest for a moment. And then bring the legs back up into tabletop. You're going to find your C curve, and we're going to do a combination. Hands are back behind your head. First, you're going to do an extension with the upper back. Come back up and then lower both legs away from you those few degrees. And then you'll lower over the reformer, come back up, and then the legs back up. So we're just alternating those two exercises here, going for about 8 rounds again. 8 seems to be the magic number for the day. This is the last one of this set. Your core should be on fire. I know mine is. But it's a really good workout. It's not often that we strengthen our core into that extended position. Only 2 more rounds. Last round here. And then you can grab hold behind the legs and rock yourself on up into a seated position. And then I'm just going to take a moment to go into a bit of rotation, and I'm going to take off 2 red springs, so I'm left with 1 heavy red for the next set. And then I'm going to rotate towards the right, sitting up nice and tall, come back to center, and then rotate to the left. And come back to center. You're going to come to kneeling on the reformer facing the risers, and your knees will be up against the shoulder blocks. You're going to grab hold for the straps, and we're going to go into chest expansion. So keeping the arms straight, you're going to bring the arms back behind you and then control it forward. It's an active movement each way, and you want to make sure you're nice and controlled so that way you keep your balance. You're keeping the core engaged and then glutes engaged as well. Shoulders stay down away from the ears, and you're drawing the shoulder blades back and down. One more here. And then hold up a little bit higher on the straps onto the tape for thoracic rotation. We're going to do a high row with that right elbow as you look towards the right, control it back in, and then to the left. We're going to alternate sides here. As you elbow away, the opposite arm is reaching towards the front of the room. So you're also getting a stretch in the chest. So you're reaching the elbow one way and the opposite arm the other way in opposition. Try to keep the hips facing forward so you're moving through the spine, not the entire body. Last one here. And then we'll go into thigh stretch. So reset, you're kneeling up nice and tall. You're going to do a little posterior pelvic tilt, so engagement of the core, and then you're leaning back, trying to keep everything in a straight line. So core is nice and engaged. You're controlling it back, getting a little stretch in the thighs, and then you're using the thighs to come back up to your high kneeling position. Inhale down. Nice exhale to assist you back up. We'll go for 3 more. Two. And last one. Once you're up, you're going to hold on to the short loops. I like to move back a little bit because we're going to go back into that thigh stretch and hold it. So you're going to have the palms facing up, lean back for bicep curls. So you're staying back and then you're going to bend the elbows and control the elbows back out. And we're staying in the back thigh stretch position. Try to keep the elbows up if you can. And we'll go for about 3 more here. And then you can hang up your straps. We're going to put on 1 medium blue spring and take off your heavy red. And then you'll come back to that high kneeling position. You're going to cross the straps, hold on to the short loops, and have the elbows at your side for external rotation. Keeping the elbows at that 90-degree bend and glued in at your side, you're going to open the arms up and then control it back in. So you should be feeling this in the back of, like right behind your shoulder. So I don't want you feeling it in the bicep. If you do, try to relax that muscle and put your focus into the back of the shoulder, or external rotators. We'll do 1 more. And then you can uncross the straps and hang them up. Come on off, and we're going to put the long box on for a little leg series. This one will be standing. I'm going to be facing my reformer with my left side closest to the foot bar. I'm going to take the long loop and put it around my thigh, my right thigh. And then I'm going to take a few steps towards the foot bar. I'm going to lean forward so that way my forearms are on the box. I'm stabilizing through that right leg. With that left leg, I'm going to do a donkey kick. So I'm going to bend the knee, and then I'm going to kick away. I'm trying to push away with my heel, and that's going to help me connect to my glute on that side. You will also feel the right side working to stabilize. The core is engaged, your stomach is off the box, and you're strong through the shoulders. We've got 2 more here. Try to keep the hips square so you're not rolling the spine as you kick out. And then we're going to go into fire hydrants. So keeping that 90-degree bend in the left knee, you're going to externally rotate, bringing that left knee out to the side and then control it back in, working the glutes in a little different way. We have 8 repetitions here. And then next up, we're going to alternate that donkey kick and the fire hydrant. So last one here, and then you can kick out to that donkey kick, bring the knee back in, and then kick out to the side for the fire hydrant. We have 8 rounds here. So you're alternating 1 donkey kick and then 1 fire hydrant. 1 donkey kick, 1 fire hydrant. Hips again are staying square. So both hip bones are pressing down towards the box. We're still engaged through the core, and your neck is in line with your spine. So you're not letting the neck hang at all. You're going to put that left foot down, stand all the way up, and then take a wide stance. Move that left leg out wide. And then you're going to squat, come back up, and then move the right leg in towards the left. Squat down, come back up. Use the inner thighs to take a step towards that left leg. So we're just going to alternate back and forth here. We're doing a squat, a nice little recovery from that other set we just did, and then engaging our inner thighs as well. Hands can be wherever you feel comfortable. We have 1 more round here. And then you could take the strap off of the leg, hang it up, and we're going to come into a pigeon pose. I'm going to walk around to the other side of my reformer so that way I can show you. But with that standing leg, with the right one, you're going to put it up on your box, and then you're going to bring the left leg out behind you a little bit, and you can melt over that right leg, feeling a stretch in that outer right thigh. If this does not work for your knee or just for you in general, you can sit on the box in a figure 4 stretch. And then if you want to get a little bit deeper, you're going to lean towards that knee. So instead of straight out in front, you're just rotating towards that right knee. And then you can come on up. Before we do the other side, we're going to lay on our box facing the risers. I'm just putting my foot bar down, and we're going to do a mid-back series. I like to stay on a blue spring, but if you would like to add more resistance, you can. First, we're going to do swan. You're going to reach the arms high up on the frame and then pull the carriage towards the risers as you lift your chest up into that swan. Shoulders stay down away from the ears. You're trying to use the upper back to assist you with this, as well as the lats, the big muscles down your back body. Slight engagement in the glutes to help protect the low back. And if you feel anything in the low back, either don't go up quite as high, or you can separate your legs a little bit wider. Last one here. And then once the carriage is in at the stopper, you can pick up the straps. Since I am on a blue spring, I like to hold on to my tape. And then we will go into our pulling strap series. So you're going to pull the arms back and up and try to raise your chest up as well into that swan position. And then lower everything back down. You're engaging into those lats again to pull the straps, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. I know I say that a lot, but we like to compensate with our upper trap. So we really want to work those shoulder depressors and those postural muscles. Last one here. And then we'll go into our tricep press. You're going to pull the arms back and up, hold it here as you bend the elbows and straighten the elbows. We're working more the back of the upper arms, but also trying to stay in that chest lift if you can. So the shoulder blades are squeezing together and the neck is just an extension of your spine. So you don't have the head too far up or too far down. We're going for about 8 here again. After those 8, you can lower on down. Hang up the straps. You can melt over the box, getting a little stretch in the upper back, the upper thoracic area. And then you can step off to your left, and we're going to put the strap around the left thigh, right above the knee, and you can face the box. 4 arms will go on the box, and we've got our standing set here. With the right leg, you're going to bend up that knee and kick the leg back, pressing with the heel, trying to find that connection through the entire back leg. So from the glutes all the way down to the calf. And we're going for 8 of them. 3 more. And then after that third one, you could begin your fire hydrant, keeping that knee bent at 90 degrees and rotating, externally rotating that right knee out to the side. Staying strong through the shoulders. You should be feeling that left leg working as well, since we're putting all of our weight on that leg. And next time that right leg is in, we'll start with the alternating. So you're going to do 1 donkey kick, bring it in, and 1 fire hydrant and bring it in. And then back to a donkey kick, and then a fire hydrant. Nice controlled motions. We're going for about 8 rounds of that. And then you can come up to standing. You're going to bring the right leg out more to the right. You'll squat, come on up, bring the left foot in to meet the right, bring it back out, and return to your squat. So we're alternating between that squat again, and then that hip adduction, bringing that left leg in towards the right one, working the inner thigh. I like incorporating some weight bearing strengthening for the legs because that is one of the best ways to get them stronger. Since we do stand and walk so much, we want to make sure we strengthen standing up as well. You can go ahead and take the strap off of the left leg, hang up the strap, bring that left leg up on the box for our variation of pigeon pose. So stepping that right leg back a little bit, and then once you feel comfortable, you can melt your upper back forward, getting a stretch in that left outer thigh. And then you can lean over that left knee for a little more of a stretch, if that feels okay for you. And then you can come on up, and we're going to change the box to short box for our plank set. I'm going to stay on this 1 blue spring, medium spring. If you would like more assistance, then add on another spring. And we are going to have your 4 arms on the box. And we're going to start with hovering our knees, pressing out, and then controlling the carriage back in. Going for 8 repetitions again. Keeping our spine straight, we have 5 more. Our forearms are underneath the shoulders. And when the carriage comes in, you're keeping the knees low, hovering above the carriage. Last one, out and in. And then we're going to go into our pike. So now you're going to press out, keep the knees straight as you lift the hips up, back out to plank, and then lift the hips back up. When you lift the hips up, you're trying to engage the core, use the core to help you bring the carriage in and lift the hips. Exhale into pike, inhale back into plank. 2 more to go. Hips up, then back into plank. Last one. And then bend the knees in and rest down for a brief pause. And then we're going to go into our obliques. So you're going to turn to face the side. I have my left forearm on the box and I still have my toes on the platform. And then I'm propped up, so I'm in a side plank. And then I'm going to press out here and bring the carriage back in. Knees will bend to bring the carriage in. And then press out, really feeling that left oblique working to stabilize. And then knees will come back in. We're going for 8. And then after this 8, we're going to try not to rest down and go right into the right side. Last one here. Bring the carriage in. Bring your right forearm on the box. And then turn so that way you're facing the opposite direction. And then we'll begin pressing out and in, staying lifted through that right side body, feeling that right oblique working. You're also strong through that right shoulder. And the elbow is directly underneath the shoulder. About 4 more. And then once the carriage is in, you can turn to face center, place the knees down, and come into a little child's pose to stretch out the low back. And then you can come on up, put the box away. We are done with that for today. Bring your foot bar back up. And then I'm going to add on 1 heavy red spring. So right now I have on 1 heavy red and 1 medium blue. And step up for elephant. You're going to put the feet on the carriage. Elbows are straight. You're starting with the hips directly over the ankles. Use the back of the legs to press the legs or press the carriage out, and use the core to control it back in. You're in a rounded spine. You're finding that C curve, and you're moving in and out of a hamstring stretch. If you have good hamstring flexibility, you can always lift the toes up for a little bit more of a stretch. We'll go for 2 more because this is my favorite exercise. And then you're going to come onto your knees and you're going to take off the 1 medium blue spring. So you're left with 1 heavy red. Feet will go up against the shoulder blocks. You're going to sit back towards the heels, but the butt is hovering above the heels. You're in a rounded position. Push back with the legs until you're in an extended position. Use the arms to bring the carriage back in, and then round back through the spine, sitting back towards your heel. So we're moving in and out of spine flexion and extension. So you're sitting back towards the heels in a rounded position. Push out with the legs, hips press down, bring the carriage in, lifting the chest up through the arms, round through the spine to sit back. And we'll go for 2 more. Taking your time, really getting that spinal mobility. Last one. And then once the carriage is in, you can step off to your left, and we'll finish with the lunge stretch. Have the right foot up against the shoulder block, right knee is down, left foot is forward. Bend into the left knee as you press back, feeling a stretch in that right hip flexor. And we'll hold. Bring the carriage in. We're going to do that same thing. Bend into the left knee as you press back, but this time we'll lift the right arm up and dive to the left. So you get a stretch through that whole right side body and a little bit more into the hip flexor. And then come up, both hands to the bar, bring the carriage in. This time you're going to press out. Once you're out, you're going to straighten into that left knee. Left feet will, or toes will come up, so you're on the heel for more of a hamstring stretch. Then bend into that left knee, bring the carriage in, and walk around to the other side. So now you'll have the left foot on the shoulder block, left knee is down, right foot is forward, both hands on the bar. Bend into that right knee as you press the carriage back, keeping that left knee down. Feeling a stretch now in the left hip flexor and the front of the left thigh. Bring the carriage in. We're going to do that same thing, but this time, once you're out, you're going to lift up the left arm and dive to the right, feeling a stretch through that whole left side body and a little bit more into that left hip flexor. Come up, both hands to the bar, bring the carriage in, press out one more time, and then you'll straighten into that right leg, right toes will come up for more of a hamstring stretch. And then bring the carriage on in, and you are all done. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please make sure to leave me a comment and subscribe. Thank you.